Hey everybody, I'm Josh Olive with Haven Comics. It's Thursday night, so it's time for some shop talk. So we're going to kick it off right after this. If you don't know who we are, we're Haven Comics here in Huntsville, Alabama, right actually on the border of Huntsville and Madison. And we are a small but awesome comic book store, I say, with no bias whatsoever. Don't let the sign behind me fool you. Speaking of things that can fool you, Alan, what's up?
I'm emotionally drained after Daredevil this week.
Oh my God, that was so awesome! It changed what I want my photo op to. Wanted my photo op to be with Vincent D'Onofrio. I'll tell you that.
Here's my only thing about it: the ending when he was in the bar giving his little spiel. There was some characters missing that should have been there.
Agreed.
I mean, Luke Cage. I mean, I understand why they left them out, but Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist. And then the whole riot scene where during the blackout would have been the perfect opportunity to see Moon Knight, like just, jetting across the street or something.
I would like to argue that, but I can't. I agree with all of it.
So, yeah, emotional roller coaster. And then I turn around and read the newest issue of Daredevil, which was absolutely phenomenal. So, and I got a couple of ash cans from the shop also that folks need to know about.
Rock on. Well, we'll talk about those in a minute. But first, we have a special guest to bring on. And I suspect that's the reason why everybody's here right now. Guys, next week, we are 1 week away today from move-in. And then Friday next week is the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo Year 10, which is freaking amazing. To go from the JC building to the North Hall at the VBC, all the way to the South Hall, and now the South Hall and the East Hall. The show's continuing to grow. Before long, total world domination, and leading the charge for said world domination, Jeremy.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, look here. He gets the applause.
All right. So, and I guess I should have asked this before. Is there a way for me to see like who all, or not who all's here, but like numbers and stuff, or no? I mean, it's fine. No, I'm just.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I thought you saw the same thing we see.
No, because I know that sometimes over on the right side, like you can see questions pop up. I mean, I know that you guys will like hit them and they'll come up here.
Yeah.
But,
you don't see that?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, I guess I'm not special enough, but it's okay. It's okay because I know you guys will pop in questions.
I can set you up with a link in the future where you hit the same everything as we do, and I will do that.
No worries.
And then once that happens, you can do stuff like this.
Yeah. I'll just have to make my own noise. But yeah, thanks for having me on. And you're absolutely right. You said 1 week from setup, but it's less than 1 week for me because we get in there Wednesday night and start putting everything down so that next Thursday it's all aces for load in and stuff. And so,
are you implying that their VBC people aren't going to be like slowly trying to pick up from the thing that was in the South Hall while people are trying to move in?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, and we looked past that. When they were like, the group won't be out until noon on Thursday, and I was there at 5:00 on Wednesday, and they were already gone. And then so that's in the past. That's
Tots is in here. We got Matt Posey in the house. And Kim is in here. So
hooray,
hello, everybody. We got a few other people that have not commented, but that's who all we got.
Speak up. No. But yeah, so thanks for having me on, and we blasted it over to the Expo page. And so it's a good way to have people come in and ask questions and such. Because one of the things I love, I was telling you guys before the show started, I had a lady call 2 days ago that her and her husband have never been to a Comic-Con event, and they are driving here from Pennsylvania. And so she had a slew of questions. And I'm like, well, you got the right person, because I know everything.
I can literally answer all your questions.
I can answer everything. And if it's something I don't know, I will make up an answer and implement it right now. I get, and you guys may have seen it on comments, there's people like, can I get an autograph during the photo op? And because people don't know. And, people ask, how do I meet the guests? And, I've had people ask me, do they just walk around? I'm like, no, it's not like a character sighting at Disney. I'm like, oh, look, it's a Shatner. Let's go get our picture.
Can you imagine that 93, 94, 95-year-old man walking around like, hey, just bump into me?
I mean, he's more spry than I am. Hey, Jay Weird. Yay. But yeah, so it's I love answering questions. I was on 97.7. No.
So I know the answer to that.
Ask me next Sunday around 5. I was on 97.7 ESPN Talk Radio yesterday, and I think they had intended me just to come on for like 15 or 20 minutes, and I was there for the entire hour, and we talked Expo the whole time, because you get me talking about it, and I, obviously I'm very passionate about it, and I will talk nonstop. And with this being year 10, even with, some of our departures of guests, which we can touch on that.
Hey, let's just go ahead and address that, because I've seen a lot of comments. I've seen a whole lot. Well, that's a good question right there. Mallrats panel, please.
See, it's that's kind of a timing issue. Since Jason Lee is only there for 2 days, taking him off the floor for 2 separate hours is not really an option. And since we've got the 4 main people from Earl and 2 of the 3 people from Mallrats are on that panel, I might see if Jeremy London wants just to go sit in on the Earl panel, because it's, taking Ethan and Jason off the floor 2 separate times for hour chunks is just, it's not doable.
Some people are passive aggressive.
So I asked Carrie, because we've got, we tripled the space of gaming. It was 3,000 square feet last year. It's 9,000 square feet this year. And I told him to leave me some space for arcades and consoles. But then I told him that arcades fell through. And so we have consoles, and we're working on some more consoles and some virtual reality. And so I asked him, we had a walkthrough Sunday night with the volunteers. And so I asked him, I said, how much space did you save for the video game aspect? And he was like, I've got you a 17 by 10 space. I'm like, I'm going to take more than 170 of the 9,000 square feet for it. And so, and he said that he had the tables kind of spread out. So I'm going to take more. So tabletop gaming will not encompass 8,830 square feet of it, but we're trying to make it as awesome as possible. And
did you see that book he made? Like,
it's
insane.
Yeah, we've got
over 300 games being run or something like that.
Yeah,
good Lord.
Yeah, and there's like a PDF on the web. I'm pointing here because my other computer's here. But we've got there's a full PDF that he posted there under the schedules tab, and we're printing them out too, so that if you go to the game room, you can get a copy of it. But yeah, it's a manual. Yeah, I'm getting it printed. Well, and I say Carrie says I'm getting it printed, and that's cool. But Haley LaHofer, I'm terrible. I think it's LaHofer. Anyways, she's the nerdy realtor. She sponsored the game room, So I'm like, hey, we have this, sponsorship money for the game room, so let's print these out. That way people can hold on to them, because you don't want to have to be scrolling through 100 pages. I think it's 42 pages of game guide, looking for what you want to do next. So I think it's a really good looking guide that Carrie put together. So, hit
You
up
really
the game
knocked it out of the park. It's beautiful.
hit up the game room, and we'll have a pamphlet for you. A book.
Pamphlet doesn't do it service.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a magazine size.
We will hand you a tome.
That's appropriate terminology for the game room.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's talk about real quick the kind of the elephant in the room, because people have been complaining about it nonstop. They're like, you announce guests because you bring people that people want to see,
right?
And you get them under contract, and they're going to come. And then for whatever reason, they're going to have a baby. That seems legit to me. They get a job so they can put food on the table.
Right.
That's legit to me. It's not like they're calling out with a headache or saying they have to wash their hair. But for whatever reason, they have to cancel. And when it's somebody that a particular person is so excited to see, and then that person cancels, then they're bummed and all this kind of thing. And I saw one guy on there was accusing you of just faking. Saying that you're bringing these people in, but you're not really, so that you can get attendance up. And then, pulled bait and switch. We pulled out the rug from under you. Yeah. And thankfully, several people jumped to your defense and say, this is BS. This is not how this works.
Yeah. So, they say don't read the comments, but I do, and I love it, because there's a lot of people just spewing hate and vitriol and whatnot. But for every terrible post, there's like half a dozen or more people being like, "That's dumb," and like I don't say anything. I mean, the only comments that I reply to are like, someone was like, "Is Shatner, Weird Al, and exactly. Is Shatner, Weird Al, and Priscilla Presley still coming?" I'm like, yes, and yes. I mean, people are like, oh, I don't want to see anybody. Okay.
I even saw one where when Zachary Levi, when he sent his thing, some woman had made a post on there about, well, you think he would have known better than to schedule it at this time. And it was like, well, and I think it was you that said, well, he had signed up like 10 months ago.
Right. And babies take this long.
So I was kind of like, I understand you're disappointed, but still, I mean, there's like a lot that goes into this.
Right. And I mean, that's why I like when
the guest makes the video and says, hey guys, because that, if nothing proves that they were under contract and planning to come, that does.
Right. And I mean, honestly, D'Onofrio was not able to make a video because he's busy filming. He's already filming, and he has to film that weekend. So we'll talk about Daredevil season finale. Guess what he's filming?
Yeah, I know. I can forgive him for not showing up here because of what he's doing right now.
Right. And so, I mean, it's, Emily.
Did you get to watch the finale of season one?
Yeah. So it turns out I was 3 episodes behind, and I hit all of them today. So we can get there. But Emily was
saying, understand what I meant when I said I changed my mind on what kind of photo op I want.
Yeah. Home Alone. Anyways, Emily was like, I love that we're on the other side of conspiracy theories. Like, we're the theory now of they don't actually book them. They just use their names, which I won't say what shows, but there are shows that do that. There are shows that, will not sign a guest, but announce them and then run with it. And then, oh no, they canceled, but they're under the radar enough that, that guest doesn't see it.
So that actually leads me to a good question. If something like that happens, if I'm just saying, if a con was to do something like that, a bigger con, what type of liability do they?
Oh, well, I mean, they could get sued for using their image and likeness to sell tickets, so I don't want to do that.
Well, this
And
is a question too. Matt asked a little bit earlier. He says, "Do you have people on backup in case of these situations, or or how quickly can you replace them?" I would venture to say there's no replacement for Vincent D'Onofrio.
Right, and in all honesty, the agent, he texted me this morning and was like, "Do you want to replace him? Here are some options." Well, okay, let me back up. 2 days ago, or anyways, when he first emailed me to say that he was canceling, he was like, "Would you like to replace him?" I'm like, "Unless you have John Bernthal or Charlie Cox and they're available, there's no reason to replace him." I'm not going to be like, "Vincent D'Onofrio is gone. Here's a cosplayer." Not saying, not downing cosplayers, but or like, here's a voice actor, or here's, because there are tiers, and
Yes.
replacing a D'Onofrio with someone not on par it doesn't make sense, especially this close.
I was totally going to bring him a jelly donut too.
Yeah, because as you, I'll tell you a funny story about that, or not jelly donuts, but pastries. As you get closer to the event, flights get more expensive.
Yep.
And what people don't understand, I've already booked flights for these people. And when you book a flight for someone and they have to cancel, they get the flight credit in their name. I don't get that money back. So I am out with the cancellations. Now, I didn't already book Zachary Levi's flight, but like Ernie Hudson, he and his wife were coming, and those flights were $3,200 each. I don't get that back. I can hope that they will come next year and I can use that flight credit, but sometimes they don't. So what people don't understand is, like, to announce someone to sell tickets is dumb. And people don't know. And I understand. I mean, I've talked about, I would love to meet Mark Hamill. I would. And I've talked about, because he's doing shows now, and I know his autographs are outrageous, and so it would be quite the event to go meet him. And so, would I fly to? Well, Matt, you hope they book next year. That's the only way. If not, it's a tax write-off. So if I were to say I'm going to go meet Mark Hamill in Chicago or something, I would book flights and all that stuff. And then if he canceled and I'd already gotten all that stuff, I would be upset. And, people want to blame someone like it is XYZ's fault that this isn't happening. But the reality of it is the celebrities, they do these shows like the Expo and other shows. I know they charge for their autographs and pictures, but it's their way of giving back and meeting the fans, because even though they come and make decent money here, it's this much compared to, a Netflix show or Disney Plus show or whatever else they're shooting. And so, Ernie Hudson had to cancel because he's got a show, Family Business, on Netflix that he's filming. It happens, especially when you get bigger guests that are current. And so it sucks. And if people want to blame me, that's fine. They want to blame the show, that's fine. And if they want to post something dumb, that's fine, because there are enough sane people that go on and get them. And so, and at the end of the day, our ticket sales are up. It's going to be a phenomenal show. Because, when Zachary Levi canceled, we saw that coming. Because back in the November-ish, he posted that they were expecting a child. And we're like, math, that's right around the Expo. So I'd give it a good chance. Exactly, Matt. I was like, he's probably going to cancel. So when he canceled, I was like, knew that was coming, but it still hurts. When Ernie Hudson canceled, that one hurts.
It was unlikely that he would be pregnant.
Right. Although the man looks great for being 80 something years old.
It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Whatever
right.
He's drinking, whatever he's eating, I wish he would share that with everybody, because he is in phenomenal shape.
like I was excited for Ernie Hudson because how many opportunities do you get to meet one of the Ghostbusters?
Right.
But then you turn around, and I know this is just like a me thing, and there's not a ton of weird people like me. I got almost as excited over Frank Grillo when you announced him right afterwards.
Right.
Just because he survived the purge twice.
Right. And I mean, it's, Ernie canceled like 2 weeks ago. So that was about 4 weeks before, 3 or 4 weeks before the show, he canceled. So, or no, it was a little bit longer than that. And so I kind of replaced Ernie with Sting because that was, I mean, obviously it's not the same genre, but that is the moving the needle. Adding Sting, especially with the Sunday only. I mean, Sunday might be just as busy as Saturday because of that man being in the building. And then when I saw that I was losing D'Onofrio, or no, I'm sorry, I'm getting all backed up. I'd announced Sting before the Ernie Hudson thing. When I lost Ernie Hudson, I reached out to some agents and I was like, I need a home run. And that's when one of my agents was like, I just signed Frank Grillo. It would be the first show that I do with him. Do you want him? I'm like, yes. I think it was like, what about Garrett Hedlund? I was like, okay, yes. And so, I try to replace, with the show being a week away, I may not, or I wasn't actively looking to replace D'Onofrio, but I had a phone call with an agent earlier. So we'll see. It won't be on par. Well, anyways.
Now you got me all curious, though.
Yeah, especially Matt, with the Tron, new Tron being dropped. Although he's not in the next Tron, but he was Tron Legacy and 1,000 other things. Yeah. So, yeah, but we'll see. I may have some surprise announcements this Good Friday or Easter Sunday.
Dang,
We'll
that's some last minute announcements there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, we've had laster minutes last year when DJ Qualls, his people called me. I was at Load-In on Thursday and it was like, hey, he's going to be in town. Do you have a spot for him? I'm like, sure. Okay.
Doesn't he have like family or something that lives here?
And I want to say it's just South Tennessee, but yeah. So he was coming to visit them and he was like, if I can go do a show. And he said, this is what's crazy. So we announced him, on Friday, or maybe even it was Thursday night, but we announced him. He was here Saturday only. He said he made more here just one day than he makes at most 3-day shows. Wow. With like a 36-hour heads up. And I was like,
welcome to Huntsville, bro.
I know. Well, he had been here before. And the thing is, he had just been here like the year before, 2 years before.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome. But yeah, cancellations happen. They suck. But it's part of it. I mean, it's whether it's working or health issues or, I mean, last year we lost Najee Jeter because he and the whole Spider-Man 2 crew was going to England for the BAFTAs and they won, Game of the Year. And so it's like, you can't be upset at people's success. I mean, it sucks for us, but like good for them. Now they have something more to talk about the next year when they come. So not bummed. Oh, absolutely. Every show has cancellations. Some shows don't announce them.
Yeah, because they don't want you to know until you get there.
Right.
I will say, case in point, at Dragon Con years ago, they had this would have been 2009, I think. Sean Astin was there, and he was doing a panel with somebody else. Waited in that line for an hour to get into that panel. I walked in, we sat down. They come up and say, well, Sean Astin's not going to be here because he had to leave yesterday.
Yeah.
But this dude who was on Beverly Hills 90210 is going to come in and do a panel. So stick around. It'll be awesome. I'm like, are you? I just waited in line for an hour to get into a panel for a guy who left yesterday, and you couldn't bother to tell me that?
Yeah, I mean, some shows they'll have like a cancellation list. Dragon does that, where at the bottom of their guest list it'll say cancellations, and they just remove their picture and they put their name at the bottom. So you have to go all the way to the bottom and see cancellations. And so it's, you know, I try to be as transparent as possible with people so that, you know, I just want people to have all the information, so that they're not left, you know, going to a panel that doesn't exist.
Now, with this being the 10th year, has it gotten easier over time just to reach out and schedule somebody on the last minute? You know, if you have a cancellation?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to my buddy Chris, who's one of my agents today. He gave me a call, and yes, on the Mark Spears exclusives. But he gave me a call and he was like, "Hey, you know, do you want to replace D'Onofrio?" And I was like, "You know, I've got a space. If any of your people want to buy their own flight and come here, I'm not buying another flight, you know, for you know." And he was like, "I'll reach out." And I was like, "That's fine. I don't care. You know, I've already got the hotel room reserved and all that good stuff." And so, but you know, like I said, I gave a agent a call, you know, and that's how I got Frank Grillo and Garrett Hedlund. You know, I was like, "Hey, I need something."
Hey, if you want to know more about some of what Mark Spears is bringing to the show and stuff like that, check out last week's episode of our show, because we had Mark on and he talked about a lot of that stuff and how he's planning to release the limited edition stock and all that stuff.
Mark has also posted on Instagram and Twitter some of the stuff that he's bringing. So you can
there's a graphic on the Expo page, the Expo Facebook page, with all the stuff he's bringing too. So
all I know is if I don't get those G.I. Joe books, I'm going to break his pinky.
I need that Megatron book. I do.
Oh, that Megatron cover is sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that cover is sick.
Yeah. And now the speaking of the Thundercats exclusive, we do have on pre-sale on the Expo website under, you click tickets and then go to merchandise, and they're available. They're very limited, and we've already sold through half of the available pre-sales, I think. But that guarantees you a copy.
You know, we haven't started a pool on that yet because our pedometer doesn't go that high.
That's right. In the weekend, I have to do math on the weekend.
Where did you say that was listed under tickets?
Yeah, click tickets, and then there's like you'll see a merchandise.
I see it. I'm gonna post the link up for everybody.
All right, cool.
So let's talk a little bit about, Alan kind of brought it up, but let's talk a little bit about the expansion of the show.
Yeah.
This is a big year in many respects. One, it's the 10th year, but it's also the first year that we've expanded out of the South Hall to include the East Hall. So let's talk to folks about what that means.
So everyone gets to take more steps. No, I mean, and the thing is, they're not too far. I mean, it's from the far end of the South Hall. It's literally just around a hall, like two corners, and you're at East Hall. And over in East Hall, it is three different. It's East Hall 1, 2, and 3. One of the rooms is 9,000 square feet of gaming. One of the rooms is a 9,000 square foot panel room. And then the last is a like 6,000 or 6,500 square foot panel room. So the big panel room is going to have about 1,200 seats, and the smaller one, the smaller of those two, is going to have about 800 or 900 seats. So not plenty of room. I mean, there's going to be some full houses, and there's panel rooms. But because we're moving gaming over there, we used to use one of the meeting rooms right outside in South Hall for gaming, but we're using it for a smaller panel room. So we will be able to, we were able to approve a lot of fan panels this year, because we had more space. So 3 panel rooms and a lot more gaming, a booklet worth of gaming. And but the ballrooms where the panels and gaming were in South Hall, all those walls are going to be retracted. And so photo ops, this is the biggest change in the South Hall. Photo ops are going from over by the celebrities to the back of Ballroom 5. Now, everything's going to be open, so you'll be able to see it, but we'll be able to queue up the lines for those out in the hallway, facing
on the far side of
the far side. Yes.
The room. Yeah.
And we will have vendors in those ballroom areas as well, because we're shifting the vendors to the left. We didn't just cram in a bunch more vendors. We shifted vendors to the left to make more room in the special guest area. So we have.
Speaking of which, I have a big thank you to you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, because this year, instead of being catty corner across from the spinner rack's big island, we're right in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that way I won't have to yell so loud to send people over there.
You can just throw things too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the layout I think is gonna flow well. Another thing that's gonna be a little bit different is the fan tables that are out in that main hallway in front of South Hall are being pushed down a bit to give us more space to queue up lines. Plus, it'll connect South Hall and East Hall more.
So it's not just a long blank hall of, am I going the right way?
Exactly. Even though we're going to have giant banners on the wall that say, like, panels and gaming this way, guests and vendors and everything else this way, but we'll have those tables along the way too.
Now, when you say the out in front, you're talking about like when you first walk up the steps from the outside world, or you walk into South Hall, you're talking about that hall that goes to the right? Okay.
Yeah, so the one that used to have all the flags hanging up, they don't have all the flags anymore. And everything has been remodeled, and so it looks really nice. But in that main area, the blood drive is going to be in the same place. Our merch booth is going to be the front, as far as expo stuff, is going to look exactly the same as last year. Our ticket window is in the same place. Our will call and VIP pickup is in the same place, and our merchandise booth is in the same place. So yeah. No, we didn't. The aisles are still 10 feet wide. Because like I said, we didn't add any vendors. We just shifted. Now the aisles in front of the special guests are wider. Yes. So I don't know if that's what the aisles you were referring to, but there is more space in the special guest area. So that is.
So how many guests do we have now? I know it's kind of a rough average because people are kind of weird, the cancellations and such, but what total are we up to for number of guests at the moment?
We're sitting at 75.
That's insane.
I know.
That's insane.
I know.
Oh, man. So, we have a question about Expo merch.
Yes.
So Expo merch is available? Hats, mugs, coffee.
We have lots of merch this year. We have, in years past, we've had, T-shirts and the jersey and tote bags and the prints. We have all those. We're going to make a post in the next day or two with all the prints that we have. I'm sure everyone has seen the print that Corbin did.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful, where I am the centerpiece of
You got slimed.
I got slimed. And everyone's hanging out at the long box. And I got slimed by Elvis Slimer. So it's pretty cool. And Felicia Day's there, Weird Al's there, Corbin's there, Ernie Hudson's there. But the great thing,
Vincent D'Onofrio was back in the back.
Right. Corbin's prints are always so great because he puts so many aspects of the show into his prints every year. And so the Corbin print is great. We've got an awesome Weird Al print from Sam Payne. We've got a one that I'm super excited about, Jeff Chandler, who every year when I do a walkthrough of the booths, I always say this is one of my favorite artists right here. He does some of the most realistic paintings of people, and I mean, it looks like it's a photograph. It's insane. His paintings. He did paintings of about 20 or so of the 20 to 30 of the guests. I don't even remember how many it is, and he's arranged them. So he's got all the originals, he's scanned them in, and he's got it arranged in like a collage that's just all the guests. And so that is the most true statement. Right there. That is a true statement. Multipass. But so anyways, it's a gorgeous print. And then I'm still waiting on one more print from the team down in South Alabama, Flatline Comics. They do a lot of wrestling comics. They're doing a Booker T print for me. And so, but we'll have, so the VIPs, it comes with one print with the VIPs, and then we'll have extras on sale there. We have hats this year that I should have worn one. But they're the Flex Fit, and they fit very nicely. And it's got
they fit on my big melon.
I think so. It fits over all this hair, so yeah. But yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandy grew up down the street from me.
Okay.
As a kid, was one of the coolest people on the face of the planet, and now she lives out in Texas, and I don't see her very much, but I miss her, and occasionally she lurks here on the show. So I'm glad, Brandy, that you decided to pop on and say hey. If you can actually swing it to be there for real, that'd be awesome.
So I went and Carrie Jordan had shared this, so I'm going to pull it up so that way everybody can kind of see some of the stuff that Jeremy's been talking about as far as the layout is concerned.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Carrie actually made this map. So the top left, that is the South Hall. That's the big main area. And then if you that's just a little hallway that, you get over to East Hall. So it's easy peasy over there. And the VIP pickup and the will call and everything is where it's been at the bottom left of the South Hall there. But another thing that's merchandise wise that we've got year 10 challenge coins. And it's 2 coins, and they're about, I don't have any down here. But they're, good size. They've got good weight to them. And Corbin did our year 10 logos, and it is you gamers get out. The logos, Corbin did some really cool year 10 logos.
That's awesome, Carrie.
That's right.
Carrie, meet Carrie. Carrie, meet Carrie.
They know, yeah. But so we've got lots of cool merch.
So how does one go about getting those coins?
Yeah, there you go. Aren't those awesome looking? I mean, maybe I'm a little, biased.
Those are freaking awesome looking, and I must have them.
They're really cool. So we actually have those on the website now for pre-sale. Or if you want to risk it and wait, they will be available at the merch booth. And also with the baseball jersey, those are no longer available for pre-sale because we had to order them. But we will have a very limited supply of it. I don't know if you can still click on that because it's sold out.
Baseball jersey is awesome.
It's so cool.
The Rockets next to the low mill. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, and if you notice on that right sleeve, that is the Trash Pandas logo because we worked with them. Next Thursday is Comic and Pop Culture Night at the Trash Pandas game.
Yeah, so, I saw somebody's going to be throwing out a first pitch or something like that.
Yeah, a handful of our guests will be there. Not all of them are going to throw out first pitch, but like Priscilla Presley's going to be there. She's not throwing, but she will be there, to wave and everything. But yeah, and that's the lino cover that's just, it's very pretty. I'm very excited.
That is very pretty. I would, if I were going to have him sign that, I think I might have him just sign it along the blade there inside the sword.
Yeah, because he did one for us that was like a white background. I'm like, that's lots of good space to sign. But then I was like, but that's such a good area to sign, like right on that sword.
Well, he does so much stuff with color.
Yeah.
Just showing off his color palette is always good.
Yeah, and I didn't put the hats on pre-sale because I only ordered 50 of them. So if you want a hat, you show up early.
Will it fit my big noggin? That's what I need to know.
I'll try. I may try to come out to see you Saturday. Cool thing about Saturday, this year more entities have gotten involved with the expo. So Panoply's the same weekend. Okay. We had no control over it, but we're making the most of it. VIPs get in 30 minutes before the show starts. So Friday's 2:30, Saturday is 9:30, Sunday is 10:30.
And let me just tell you, which reminds me of another topic I need to ask you about, Jeremy. But I will do that offline. But 2:30 last year on Friday, before the show even opened at 3, our booth was swamped with people going through our dollar boxes. Like people came straight. It's like they could smell the 1960s and 70s comic book smell, which is its own beautiful thing. And they were all there just like.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that extra half hour is a world of difference. If there's a key guest that you're just really dying to see, you get in that half hour early, you get over there. You miss the lines. It's a great thing to do.
Well, and what's crazy, and we'll get back to Panoply in a second, but like Saturday morning, we open at 10 o'clock, VIPs enter at 9:30. We'll have people show up at 6:30 to get in line. And so, but with Panoply, there's going to be a lot more traffic down there. So make a plan. Now I'm waiting. I know the plans for the city. There's going to be 3 free shuttles running at close by locations. I can't release the information yet because the city is going to put out like an official release, but they're close. So you can that's right.
I had that big noggin long before
big head mode. But
my cat makes fun of me for having a giant head.
I thought you said my cat.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very verbose about it.
Interesting. But so there's going to be a lot more people downtown. Make a plan. Carrie Comey there, she says she Ubers in. She Ubered in last year.
Smart.
So
that's so smart. Why did I never think of that?
Well, you're fine because you get there early as a vendor, but
I have to carry a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
But even so, Uber is smart.
Right. Emily and the boys, my father-in-law dropped them off last year, so, and that was not Panoply weekend. So make a plan.
Well, it's not just Panoply, right? There's a monster truck thing going on.
Yeah.
And the Peter Pan play, I think, is happening down in the Playhouse.
Yeah.
Wasn't the monster truck thing going on last year also?
Yes. They love hanging out with us, I guess.
Hey, look who we got here.
Because I remember a lot I think last year they had a lot of motocross guys there with the monster truck stuff.
Yeah.
Because I remember all those guys from the motocross, they got done, I guess, practicing or whatever, and they just decided to come over to the expo and walk around for a couple hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, all I can say is make a plan. It's going to be busy, but, one thing is when you get to the expo, now 2 years ago, there was a line out the door to Monroe all the way to Clinton. So, I mean, we literally had a line 4 blocks long to get in. So we didn't double or triple the amount of people. We upped it 6 times. We had 2 people that year. We had 12 people last year. So people were getting in. So once you park and get to the building, I promise you will get in as soon as possible. Like once you enter the South Hall building, you're in within 5 minutes.
But speaking of which, though, use your heads, people. Get there early.
Right.
You have the option, if you've already prepaid for tickets, you have the option of picking those up early. You can pick them up on Thursday.
Right.
If you buy your tickets at Haven, you've got your tickets. You go in and you get your wristband or what have you, and you're done.
The caveat to that is the pickup on Thursday night is just for weekend and VIP.
Okay, fair enough.
Because if it's a single day, you can only pick up a single day wristband the day of. So you can pick up your Friday wristband. Now, our will call opens up 2 hours before the show. So Friday it'll be open by 1. Saturday it'll be open at 8. Sunday it'll be open at 9. So you can get in and get lined up. And the thing is, Panoply, as it is a great thing. We've partnered. They're kind of like the official after party of the expo because they've got tons of food trucks, live entertainment, a ton of artists.
Guaranteed rain.
And then
anybody who's from Huntsville knows if it's Panoply weekend, it's going to rain.
If it's Panoply or Easter, it's going to rain.
But they're also going to have fireworks on Friday and Saturday night. So lots of cool stuff to do there after you leave the expo. But the thing is, Panoply doesn't really gear up until on Saturday until like noon or 1. So, you know, we will pump out all the information about the shuttles and everything. But I mean, I feel bad because, you know, Peter Pan, the matinees at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Monster Jam, the first one's at like 1 o'clock or 12:30 or something. By that point, we're going to be parked all over the place. Like parking is going to be filled up because of us. And so, but you know, I want to give out as much information as possible, and I will as soon as the city releases it. But they will have 3 separate drop-off pickup locations for a free shuttle, and that those shuttles are going to run till I think 10 or 11 o'clock at night because it's not shuttles for the expo, it's shuttles for all the events going on.
That's awesome that the city's doing that.
Well, and part of it, not to toot my own horn, but like I went to Arts Huntsville 11 months ago and I said, hey, we're going to run into these issues. And so then like 3 months later, they were like, oh, we need to start looking at this. I'm like, thank you. And so they've done a lot of coordinating with
Hello from Nebraska, Mr. Blue Hellion.
You know, they've done a lot. Arts Huntsville's done a lot. Kathy over there's done a lot with coordinating with the city. But yeah. Panoply's more chill, man.
Now this comment right here, you have no idea how true that is because I'm going to upsell you on so much crap that weekend. It's not even funny. As far as, and I know this is kind of a behind the scenes thing, but as far as load-in is concerned, if I go find who's working will call, do you think I'd be able to sweet talk them, tell them I know the owner and get my tickets early?
On Thursday during the day?
Oh yeah.
There won't be anybody there, so
no. I'll track somebody down to sweet talk.
Well, I mean, you do you, boo. Or just hang out.
Now, last year was funny because during load-in, I wasn't paying attention, and there was like some people standing there, but there was nobody pulling in. So I went to pull in, and apparently I pulled in on a side of the door that the woman that was standing there did not want me on. Mm-hmm. And she looked at somebody and she said, who does this guy think he is? You just happened to come walking down through there, and I could tell by the look on your face, you was already done for the day because you went, just blame it. Like that.
Sounds about right.
I was rolling.
Now, Matt, Alan's going to be behind there too, so you're not immune. He sells me stuff at my own booth.
I will, it's in the vendor packet.
Yeah, that's what, noon on Thursday?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. yeah, load in will be smooth. Follow directions. Don't skip a bunch of people because
Load-in is actually fun.
yeah, I mean, it can be if everything goes right. As long as everyone's done what they told me they're going to do and not start breaking down the previous events at 11:30 on day of load in. So yeah, it can be a headache, but I mean the thing is we roll with it, we make it work.
I know last year we had the Haven booth set up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Then we were standing around watching everybody.
Yeah. I mean if it works out, yeah, it's in the vendor packet. Don't message me.
You should have a hat that just says that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because we get in there, my team gets in there Wednesday night to put the tape down, put all the tables out, label the tables, everything, so that by noon on Thursday, it's as easy as possible. And sometimes, I mean, it's going to happen again where people are going to show up at like 9:00 and be like, "Can I go ahead and load in?" No, you can't. I don't care. I'm there. But I'm not letting people. Now, in years past, I mean, I believe not years, last year at least, we had a decent line at like 11:15.
Yeah.
And we were ready. So I'm like, let's go ahead and open it up, because if we can go ahead and knock out, 10 or 20 of these vehicles and get them unloaded and get them out of here, it's a lot better, a lot easier.
Yeah, facilitates the process for everybody.
Right.
Now, earlier up in the chat, Carrie Comey said something about, hey, let's talk some vendors. And then she said, for example, I hear that Nana's Sweet Treats is coming, and I would like to get clarification that that's accurate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because she's what keeps me fat and sassy during the show.
It's all the sassiness. Yeah, so I was on the radio yesterday. I was talking about all the different vendors. I was like, yeah, we got a couple of fun food vendors. We got Angelo with International Candy Company that, he's got all kinds of Japanese candy and this, that, and the other. But then we have Sweet Nana Sweets. And I was like, and that booth is near and dear to my heart because that's my mom. That woman, she makes all the stuff like 2 days before, and I say all the stuff because then last year she sold out every day.
I will not. I will not back off. We will fight over that pound cake.
You pre-order it. You contact Nana and say, I would like a whole pound cake. But she literally sold out every day and went because I get an Airbnb house for my parents and my sister and brother and some other people. And so she goes back as soon as she sells out, she goes and starts again. And she stays up till like 1 or 2 in the morning baking everything. So if you get stuff, it's fresh. It's super fresh.
And it's not like she has just a few items there. Her booth is always covered up with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That poor woman is cooking her fingers to the bone.
Yeah, but she loves it. Pretty much all the recipes she got from her mom. So it's she stays up later on Friday because it's not as early of a day for her. But yeah, on Friday night and Saturday night, she'll stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning making new stuff.
And she somehow manages to be really sweet and nice to every single person she meets too.
That's right.
I don't know how she manages that with that little sleep and putting in that much work. She's got to be bone tired.
She's delirious.
Now, there's one vendor booth that my daughter and I will go check because normally we'll get there and I'll be like, okay, this is where Josh is at. This is where I'm going to be. I'll be right around here somewhere. But one booth, for whatever reason, for the past several years, we always have to go to that guy's booth that does the Lego miniatures.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, that booth is just so cool, all the different Lego miniatures he has.
Yeah, Gemini Gray Creations is his business name. Jason Jacobs is his people name. Super nice guy. He's been coming to the Expo since year 1. He came as a fan, and he's been doing the Lego thing, I want to say for like the last 3 or 4 years. And so he comes and, I mean, I know they get there super early because vendors can get back in 2 hours before open each day. And he gets back and he and his wife and his daughter, they're just sitting there building little men to go put them back, to replace inventory. And it's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, Jason is an awesome guy. But yeah, and that's just it. We have so many unique vendors. I mean, we've got John Clark, well, he goes by JC with Galactic Props that makes the Star Wars helmets. You can kind of see those two, the Ahsoka helmet and the Armorer helmet. And then I got this from him last year.
Master Chief.
So, I mean, the quality, and it is great, and it is signed by Jen Taylor and Steve Downs on the top. Both.
Here's
awesome
a question
people.
you don't get every day, and this is a great question.
Okay, I'm coming.
From an operations standpoint, what are some of your personal favorite aspects of doing the expo? From an operations perspective, that's interesting.
So, one thing, so we have a just slew of volunteers, and we've got every year I'm able to release more stuff. 2 years ago, when the line was stupid long, I went up there. I'm like, what can I do? And Amy Minter, who runs our front area, was like, go away. I got kicked out because all three windows were full and they were humming on efficiency, and our will call was going as fast as they could, and she was like, we got this, just you go. And so I jokingly say I got kicked out, and I'm not allowed to go back out front anymore. And it's seeing the connections that are made, whether it's volunteers becoming friends or vendors becoming friends. One thing I like about our show is we've got a lot of vendors and artists and authors that are here local, and they may do other shows, but some people, like, this is the only show they do because it's local. And so it's just kind of cool, like building those relationships over the years and seeing other people connect. So that's kind of cool. And just seeing where we were year one with 12,000 square feet in the JC's building and seeing where we are now, I don't understand it. I don't.
Well, I do, and I can explain it to you. You said, hey, I think Huntsville needs this thing. I remember you were like, somebody ought to do that. And I think it was Emily, your wife, who said, why don't you do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was.
Having no idea what she was getting herself into.
Right.
But that's awesome, Don.
Yay!
Good for you. But Huntsville needs a thing like this. Somebody should do it. You stepped up, you did it, and you kind of used year one as a proof of concept, right? Yeah. Is this going to work? And it worked, and it worked well enough that you said, well, holy smokes, okay, let's do the VBC, let's get the North Hall. And year two, we bring in a few guests, right? You've got Chris Claremont and Mike Grell.
Small guests.
Just nobody ever heard of. That's for comic book people. Everybody knows who that is. So you say, all right, well, okay, so then we're going to bring in a few more and a few more and a few more. And now the North Hall is nowhere near big enough. Now, boom, we're expanded into the South Hall. Now the South Hall is not big enough. And it's all because of two things. One, you said Huntsville needs a thing like this, so you built it. And two, you said, I can make it better. And every year you've done something that makes it better.
Well, and thank you. And some people ask me, how did you grow your show? And this isn't like a humble brag or whatever the kids are calling it these days, but like I say, half the credit of my show, and I often say our show because I feel like it's everybody's. Half the credit of our show growing so well is the fact that it's in Huntsville. I feel the same pattern, in Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, it wouldn't have worked. Right. That lady is beautiful and smart.
And does great graphics.
I know. Well, and that's the other thing too. It is a family thing. My mom is baking. My brother runs my booth. My wife does all the graphics and the website. And if you send a message to the Expo page or call the Expo phone in the next week or so, you'll probably get a response from her.
And Eli's doing voiceovers for videos.
Yeah, and Eli's doing the voiceover for the commercial. So I mean, it's everybody is involved, and we have fun, and I try to have as much fun as possible. Last Sunday we had a walkthrough for volunteers. Okay, we always do that about 2 weeks before the show, just to go have everyone check out the South Hall. And usually we have like 30 or 40 people show up. There was like 80 plus people at the walkthrough.
And I imagine you need every one of those.
Oh yeah, well, and that's just that's not nearly all the volunteers that come. We have so many volunteers that come from out of town. They, drive in or fly in or whatever, get a hotel room to volunteer. Some people do this at multiple shows. That's their thing, and that's awesome. But and we'll have close to, if not over 200 volunteers over the weekend. And it's great. And I have people say, can I still volunteer? And I'm like, show up. We will put you to work. We'll find a space. I mean, he's under the jurisdiction of Josh. So Josh keeps him in line. And if he doesn't, then it's a Josh thing.
And I do get a little feisty. I have been known to talk smack to get people to get them closer to the booth. Because from my viewpoint, if I can get you within 10 feet of the booth, I can talk you into spending money.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alan does kind of operate by his own rules. That's true. Coming back for the third year in a row and bringing another new person. Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah. Alex,
glad you guys are coming back.
I recognize that name. He's already bought some photo ops because I had to refund his Vincent D'Onofrio photo op today.
But I mean, also from my perspective, not being a business owner and definitely not being able to do what you do, but just from my perspective, the way I see things is this is really and truly the only weekend that a bunch of us can actually dedicate and get to hang out together.
Yeah.
And we have last year I was talking so much trash, just having a blast. I mean, with strangers, with people that we know, and then talking smack about the spinner rack and sending people over there looking for. I mean, we just had a blast. And I know Matt Posey was doing the same thing to me over at Spinner Rack.
It's totally a community thing. I get recognized a lot. And like I was at the embassy last year waiting for some guests to arrive on, I guess it was Thursday night. And there was a couple of guys just sitting there having a drink. And they're like, hey, you're Jeremy, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they were just kind of asking me some questions. I ended up just sitting there talking to them for like 30 minutes. And I was like, I got to go. Dave McCormick from Bluey just showed up. So it's the world that we have is so surreal. The conversations I have and seeing, becoming friends with agents and then seeing them at other shows. It's a weird, Chris Arsaga, who is co-owner of Celebworks, who I get a lot of guests from, he is a really good friend of mine, and he lives in LA. I see him he's at my show every year, but then I'll see him at Pensacon and other random shows. But we talk like every week. Last year with the wildfires, I was calling and checking in on him and that kind of stuff. And so, making friendships like that, is pretty awesome. And with the volunteers, you'll see me on Wednesday night during setup. I'm carrying tables. I'm putting it in. I'm on the ground, taping. I'm doing whatever needs to be done because I'm not one to, I'm the owner. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to do everything because I'm not going to ever ask someone to do something that I won't do. And then after the show, I have a celebration dinner and all the volunteers that want to, they come out, we eat, we drink, we have fun. And I started it 2 years ago where I do trophies. And so it'll be like, most valuable player, rookie of the year, this kind of stuff. And it's just, it's fun because it's a callback to the show and, remembering fun moments like that. And then we have leads over the different departments, and they requested pens, like lapel pens, like hearts, smiley faces, and this kind of stuff. So I ordered like 1,000 of these different pens off Amazon. So it's kind of like, good job. Here's a pen. And so if you see volunteers with like pens, that means it's almost like getting a Buckeye on your helmet. And so we just have fun, and I treat people like I want to be treated. And the simplest breakdown of
pause. We have an important note from one of our sponsors.
Hey, look at that!
Sweet Nana Sweets is on here. I love this woman, y'all. You have no idea. I've asked if she would adopt me, and she said no. But that cream cheese pound cake right there, that's a gift from God.
The red velvet cookies.
Those things are amazing. Chocolate pudding cake. Oh, I hear angels singing. Yeah. I love Sweet Nana's Sweets. What a beautiful, wonderful human being she is. Even though she won't adopt me. And there's Amy right there. Yeah.
Yay!
Amy and Cindy, who's always pointing people where to go when they're loading in and stuff. Boy, she will put her foot in the ground and tell people exactly where they can and cannot go.
That's right.
And those are the kind of people you want, man. People who will take charge, and they're awesome, and they do a phenomenal job.
Yeah. And
you're not kidding, Brandy. I'm telling you, this woman is amazing. And,
it's kind of come for the sweets, stay for Shatner. But yeah,
she said, get the papers ready. Ha
Hooray, a new brother.
My name starts with a J. I'll fit right in.
Right. It works. But so, I always, hey, look at that. There's Jason Jacobs. There's your Lego guy.
This is like old home week right now.
I know. I love his booth. My daughter and I love that booth.
Dude, and that's what I love about Load-In is seeing people. I mean, I see Jason a couple times a year at other events and whatnot, but there's some people. We have one vendor. It's a dad and daughter from Texas that come every year. Our show is the only time I see them because they're out of Texas. But like I always, catch up with them, and they're super fun. They do a lot of vintage toys and stuff. But, I see people that I haven't seen in a long time, and, it's just fun. And I don't know. Are we saluting? There we go.
Dude, Nosh is awesome.
Okay, cool.
Dude is amazing, and he makes me look small.
Oh, scary. But
only he's in shape.
The most simplest form that I tell people the success of the show is I treat people like I want to be treated. And I take everything I enjoy about attending a show and everything I enjoy about being a vendor at a show. I mean, it's that simple. You treat people like you want to be treated, and that's vendors, that's volunteers, that's special guests, that's attendees, that's VBC staff, and I want everyone to have fun. There you go.
Of course you did. Right, rub it in.
We were on here talking one time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you had said that you were already planning the expo like several years in advance.
Yeah, I've got dates through 2029.
So now, when we get close to the expo itself, I mean, we're less than a week away from literally all hell breaking loose in your world. As far as being busy is concerned.
Sure.
Do you put all planning for the future on hold then, or are you always you got to stay fluid with it?
So I always like, oh bless, I like to have some guests already
that
signed.
Comment made my stomach hurt.
Yeah, I like to have some guests already signed for the following year so that I can announce them. Because the last panel of the weekend on Sunday is, closing ceremonies where I go and I recap the year and talk about the future and everything. And I usually announce some guests. I've got some verbal commits. I don't have anything signed yet, but yeah, I'm always 16 months ahead. So, or you can say I'm 5 years ahead, having all these dates booked. But the thing is, you have to book far out, because now that we've added East Hall, I can't wait and book another weekend, because there's not many weekends where all of South Hall and all of East Hall is available. And so once we go bump up, we can't come back, and in 20, I think it's 27, we add North Hall.
Nice.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Were we in North Hall 1 year or 2 years?
2 years. Year 2 and 3 was North Hall. Year 4 was South Hall 1. It wasn't all of South Hall. South Hall 1. And then 2020 was supposed to be this big, 40 plus guests. And then 2020 happened. So we had an abbreviated show in July of 20.
Yep.
But yeah, I want everyone to have fun, and I want it to be as accessible as possible. We talked earlier about
that's why kids tickets are free. Kids 12 and under are free. That's insane.
We talked early about negative comments in regards to people canceling, but we've had a lot of we've had some comments that's like, I'd like to go, but it's too expensive. And I understand some people can't afford this, but if you look at our show versus other shows with similar guest lists, it's our pricing is,
it's not even comparable.
Some people are like, the tickets for this are cheap. I don't like the word cheap. They're inexpensive.
It's a good value.
Right. It is a great value, and not the Walmart brand.
Honestly, if you just pay for a ticket, pay for parking, and go, and you don't buy anything there or get one autograph or anything, it's well worth it just to walk around and check everything out.
Right.
Amy nailed it. Amy absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, because and our volunteer requirements are low compared to other shows. We require 15 hours, and that is
dude.
Yeah.
That's some serious shade there, or not shade, but that's
high
legit.
praise. High praise.
That's legit.
Yeah,
exactly.
And we've been up in our roster, because I was bummed when we lost Zachary Levi and Ernie Hudson and Benton D'Onofrio, but then I spent half a second looking at our guest list, and I'm like, oh no, we only have William Shatner, Walter Koenig, Felicia Day, Weird Al, Sting, Jody Benson, Linda Larkin. Yeah. It's crazy. Mario Lopez, Elizabeth Berkley, Tori Spelling. Come on. And that's only Melissa Joan Hart. It's crazy the amount of talent we have coming to this thing. And it's super exciting. It is super exciting. I honestly, I don't get nervous meeting guests. I'm like, hey, I'm Jeremy, I run the show. Thanks for coming. If you need anything, you have my number in your welcome packet. And everyone's always super chill and awesome. And I've even met Weird Al. I've met him. I've had conversation with him at Pensacon. And I'm like, I hope he likes me.
No, brother, Sting, the wrestler.
Yeah, that's who he's talking about.
It's not and the police.
He will be out there among the fields of barley.
And for those of y'all that are watching that have never met William Shatner, I actually met him by accident.
Oh, this is a great story.
You almost killed him.
Yeah, well, no, because that Friday night it started pouring down rain. And I had walked right out that little back door where the loading docks was, because I just wanted to see how hard it was raining, because we were getting ready to leave.
Right.
And there's all these cops standing right there at the door. And I walk up and I kind of peek my head out, and I'm like, man, it is coming down out there. And all of a sudden, this voice goes, "You're telling me, and I'm old, and they got to get that van a hell of a whole lot closer for me to get to it because I don't run." And I look over, and in the middle of all these cops, William Shatner's looking right at me. And I'm like, "Hey, don't put up with it. You get them. They'll get it up here for you." And the cops, I mean, they're having a blast with the guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was so nice and so cool.
Yeah, it's and he actually he reached out to us to come back.
That's amazing.
So I mean, yeah, he made lots of money, but like we treat people so well that they want to come back. And this year with it being year 10, I almost treat it as a greatest hits. So we've got Kevin Eastman coming back, Chris Claremont coming back, Adassa coming back, Mike Grell, yeah. And the cool thing about Mike Grell is he hasn't done a show in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And he said he's, he doesn't know how many shows he's like, this is his start of a reunion tour, but with no future dates scheduled. So it's pretty awesome that he's going to come back.
Well, I have a picture on my phone from year 2 of him doing the Karate Kid crane pose out in front of his booth. I don't remember what we were talking about that he did that, but I got the picture.
Good. But yeah, so I mean, it's going to be a blast. And once you're in the building, you're going to be taken care of. We have some of the coolest vendors. We have, if you're looking for any comics, it'll be there. Now if you're looking for an Action Comics 1, it probably won't be there. But I mean, between all the comic booths, you got stuff from quarter books to 5-digit books, so lots of cool stuff available. Lots of smiling faces. Our vendors are awesome. Our volunteers are awesome. The VDC staff is pretty awesome. And so, yeah. Elizabeth Berkeley coming back. She was so nice last year. It was, some of these people, that's funny. Some of the guests, you start talking to them and it just feels like your friend that you hadn't seen in a couple of years. You've never met these people. You know them from TV or whatever.
If you need Hulk 181s, I know there will be some there. If you need a Hulk 180, I'll have 2 of them at the show.
I have 3 181s at my booth. One's a 90 Mark Jewelers insert.
Oh, wow.
Anyways,
that's going to be expensive.
It's got some zeros behind it.
Honestly, it's kind of funny. What Jeremy doesn't know is we're talking about all this stuff, but you and I are getting text messages, and your booth is slowly being constructed and put together
right now as we speak. That's true.
Oh, that's funny.
Nick Ellis is building me a wall.
That's cool.
For my wall books and such.
Yeah.
He's building a modular. It was going to be joined with a so that they could have a hinge and do this business, but now he's just making 4 separate panels.
Oh, cool.
Which look pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie.
It really does. It looks good.
But it's all portable and folds down real thin, so we can just store it in our warehouse and
very cool.
Easy.
Yeah, last year, Jonathan Frakes and Richard Karn, basically, they were like the uncle that you hadn't seen in a couple of years. Just very talkative and everything. So, the guests are fun, but don't come for the guests. Don't come for the vendors. Don't come for the gaming. Don't come. I guess I should be saying don't come just for any aspect. Come for all of it. There's so much to see and do. I definitely recommend the weekend pass versus just a single day. But if all you can swing schedule wise, money wise, whatever is a single day, then come and enjoy it. But come and stay. Yeah,
that's actually an important thing to note. Cash is really great for every vendor. That's fantastic. But the VBC itself is a cashless venue, so you have to have a card for the VBC to pay for parking, to buy things at the concession stand. Now they do have what ATMs and such around, I guess.
Well, yes. So, but now the parking thing, that's just if you park underneath the South Hall. That is card only. If you park in the parking deck across Monroe, that's cash or card.
They'll take cash. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And some of the guests are cash only. Some vendors might be cash only, but and you know, and with vendors you can usually get a better deal with cash.
Because they're not paying 3%.
Right, but you know there are ATMs throughout the building. Because I know 2 years ago Shatner was cash only. Now they have not let me know that they're cash only, but that doesn't mean he's not. That just means they haven't let me know. I get a lot of surprises when they show up on Friday. So it's just, you know, roll with the punches and make it work. I've got my mentality to problems with the Expo and life in general is, you know, because a lot of people, if they're dealt a problem, they freak out. But if it's a problem that I can do something about, I do something.
Yo, I'll solve it.
That's right. Check out the hook when my DJ revolves it.
Exactly.
But if there's a problem that I can't do anything about, I don't care. I don't care. I know that sounds kind of terrible, but I mean, like, I move on and deal with it as best I can. The last 2 years, we've had over 20 flights each year canceled on Thursday because of weather. And I can't do anything about the weather. And so, but this is where great agents come into play, and they come in and they, you know, figure it out. We had to make a couple extra trips to Nashville last year because the bad weather was not in Huntsville. It was in Texas. And so all those people coming from LA connecting in Dallas, those flights were being canceled. And so we were able to get some of the people rebooked direct flights from LA to Nashville. And so we made it work.
That's awesome.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
so
I mean,
have you developed any traditions around the Expo, things that you do?
I mean, there's no other than, I mean, like the volunteer wrap up party, that's a, you know, yearly thing. But I mean, as far as like a superstition or something that I do, like I go and no, not really. I mean,
he just started drinking. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that my whole life. No. But yeah, I mean, now I will say I do drink a lot more water. Amy's right. Because used to I would just grab sodas. And then about 4 years ago, after the Expo, I came home Sunday night. I was just exhausted. Took my shoes off, took my socks off, laid down on the couch with my feet up, and I had like elephant feet. There was, I mean, cankles does not describe it because I drank next to no water the whole weekend. But we started a couple years ago. Now this, I mean, it would be great if it's every year, but sometimes the schedule doesn't work out, where the night before the Expo, we take some of our guests out to the Trash Pandas and do, first pitch and everything. So, and it's worked out now 3 years in a row. There's been a home game our weekend. But obviously I know that's not going to be every year, but that's a fun tradition. One tradition that we had that will die this year. I used to take all the guests who wanted to, I would take them axe throwing on Saturday night at 8:05, but civil axe is gone now. So we can't do that. So, and that was cool. I mean, last year I threw axes with Melanie Zanetti, Brandon Routh, Rachel Lee Cook, a bunch of voice actors. And I have some friends that come, and Emily comes, and actually Eli came too. Eli was throwing knives with Orange Cassidy last year. And then a couple days later, he was like, "Hey, who was that? Who was your friend that I was throwing knives with?" And I'm like,
who was that
"That's
guy?
the AEW champion right now. That's Orange Cassidy." He's like, "Oh, he was so chill. I thought he was one of your friends." I'm like, "He could have body slammed us both."
So that
and
you're talking about going over to Campus 805 is a perfect segue to Matt's statement. Got to try that Expo beer. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing. Straight to Ale is my favorite brewery. They're awesome, and they're located about a mile away from the VBC. They reached out to me about a month or 6 weeks ago and said that they wanted to do some after party events.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if they do anymore, Chris, and it's not as convenient driving all the way down University. But if they'd still do, it's I know people are like, why don't you just throw axes, just get some wood.
I do need to slip this in right quick. For those of y'all that are joining us for the first time on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Help a couple of local brothers out.
I don't know where it is.
It's around here
somewhere. But yeah, so Straight to Ale, they reach out. They say, hey, we want to do some after events to go along with the expo. We're thinking cosplay karaoke or something in the speakeasy. And
what a great idea.
Right. And since it's year 10, we would like to do an expo beer. And I'm like, I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
You had me at beer.
Right. Pretty much. Well, and selfishly, I love seeing our logo all over the place.
Yep.
I love it. I love when I'm at another show in a different city and someone's wearing an Expo jersey or an Expo t-shirt, or I was in New Orleans and there was a guy with one of the Expo tote bags. And I'm like, that's awesome, but to mix beer and Expo is just fantastic. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, what I was going to say is you can't get it at the VBC. So you will have to go to Straight to Ale to get it, but they're putting it in 16-ounce tall boys, and they're selling them by 4-packs. And it is a what is it? Watermelon something or another.
Now, are those going to be available the weekend of the expo only, or can people go get them now?
So it actually debuts this Saturday morning at 11. And so it is a watermelon lime sour ale. So it's
I'm not even a beer drinker, and that sounds good to me.
It's well, and I told him, I was like, if we could do something that is like got a good fresh like spring, light beer, because we're in spring. So I haven't tried it, but I'm actually going to go tomorrow, and I think I'm going to try it tomorrow. I think I'm going to be able to try it tomorrow. But the release is this Saturday at 11 o'clock at Straight to Ale. But then they will have it. I don't know how many cases they're, making. I hope it sells out. I do. Because that's such a cool thing. I'm going to buy it.
Like a yearly brew, like a seasonal thing just for the expo.
Yeah. And that's what the social media and marketing manager at Straight to Ale told me, like, we'll do this every year and we'll do it with some more heads up, because it was kind of a last minute thing. And so that's why it's not available at the VBC. And so, because when you're talking alcohol, there's so many different licenses you have to have.
Yep.
And so the VBC was concerned that they would buy X amount of cases and then they would be left with a bunch left over. I'm like, I promise you it's gonna sell out. And then I said, whatever you don't sell, I'll buy, but I can't buy it from them. They can't sell it to me as an outside sales, because all they have, their license is just inside sales. So it's a big rigmarole, but we're gonna try to attack it earlier next year.
Now, if you look at events like Gen Con that turn this entire Indianapolis into this massive geek gamer fest thing, right? The whole city. They do all the specially branded stuff. Stores, restaurants offer all kinds of special things.
Yeah.
To this. What we're seeing now is that starting.
Right, and we would have.
This is the beginning of that.
Well, and Pensacon does that. All of downtown is transformed Pensacon weekend. And we're doing that more, and we would do it more this year, but we're Panoply weekend. So next year, I've already talked to Matt Mandrella, who's the music officer for Huntsville, about doing live music at Mars. And I've talked to the name is his name, the guy who runs Downtown Huntsville Inc. now, or not runs, but is in charge of Downtown Huntsville Inc. now. And he's like, I'm all for it. We just can't, really this year because it's Panoply. And I'm like, I understand.
So something that they ought to consider, and maybe we should take this to that guy. You know how they do the tinsel trail every year for Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
They should do something similar during Expo weekend or leading up to the Expo. Do something downtown where people, sponsors, whatever, can put up a tree or some kind of a display. That would be awesome.
Well, and I mean, so in Pensacola for Pensacon weekend, Fish House, which is a nice seafood restaurant right there on the water, they totally go full Hogwarts all weekend long. Perfect Plain Brewery, they do all sorts of themed beers. So there's and that's just two of the places. There's so many different places that have themed drink specials or themed menus. And so that is what I envision for the future. Like, let's spread this out into downtown Huntsville, because there's so many cool places downtown Huntsville and a lot of people that come in from out of town, they're staying in and around the area. So let's make the most of it.
Or not just that when they get that Riverwalk with that new stadium that they're talking about building, or new arena put up, you could expand on into the Riverwalk area.
Well, and that's so there's talk of I think what's going to happen is if they do move forward with that new arena, they're going to level the current arena and then basically expand to where all the current BBC is just like a giant convention center. And so you'll see more parking, more event space and everything, so that it's a lot more square footage. I mean, that's, probably 10, 15 years down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hi, Dakota. Yeah, well, that's Thursday night. That's Thursday, April 24th. And so it's cool how many people are I won't say latching on, but buying into this crazy idea that we had.
Well, hopefully we're only a few years away from Huntsville Pop Culture Expo presents Slipknot in the arena. I would go to that show right after the Expo.
Well, and so what's funny is so many people, are like, well, you're just going to take over all the VBC. And I'm like, well, there's really no reason for me to ever have the arena, because I don't need 6,000 seats looking at, 40,000 square feet of floor space or whatever. I don't even know what the dimensions are because I've never looked into it. But yeah, I mean, it could be something like that. I jokingly said to somebody yesterday, one of the guys at ESPN, I said, maybe I'll get the arena just so that Monster Jam won't. And so, yeah.
Or partner with Monster Jam one year.
I don't want those trucks. They're so I feel bad for the panels and the game room that is right next to the arena. They're going to get, if it was loud in the South Hall hallway, there's going to be some vroom vroom.
So can shirts be shipped to Nebraska?
I mean, maybe. It's we've done well. I say we've done selling, and shipping, but that was COVID year. Look,
we need the arena, Jeremy. We need the arena.
I am not a music promoter. Okay, I try to. Anyways, the riders for bands, no, thank you. riders means list of demands, and they're stupid. But yeah, I basically with as far as t-shirts go, I would and shipping it, I would get in touch with one of these knuckleheads and see if you can convince them to pick you up one, because once we light this firecracker for me next Tuesday, the remembering to grab a t-shirt. Yes. Throw axe throwing at the monster trucks. Throw axes at the truck. Yes, let's do that thing.
That's true. We could just do improv in the arena.
Okay, so if no partnership with Monster Jam and we can't get Slipknot with the arena, why not partner with the Harlem Globetrotters one year? That would be nice and quiet.
Yeah, it would be. They're fun. They're fun gig. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Alan sings the blues.
I will clear that thing out. All Jeremy's got to do is give me the thumbs up and say he's ready for people to leave.
Get you a microphone at 5 p.m. on Sunday.
We ought to have Jake the Snake Roberts come back so you can put him next to the microphone again, because that was hysterical.
That was a hoot.
That was so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what? So, I mean, we've got lots of fun stuff planned, and I try to add something new every year, just to, keep it moving, keep it rolling. And, this year with the added space, and still waiting to hear about adding the virtual reality and everything over in the gaming room. But I mean, it's going to be a banner year, and I still kind of sit back and I'm like, how did this happen? And yes, wait a
minute, I need to address that comment right quick.
No, you've been voluntold.
Give me just a second and I will address it.
Boo!
All right.
That's good. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, and for if there's anybody watching who's never been, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain the level, because I don't. This is what's crazy, and this isn't one of those humble brags again, but I don't think we do anything special. We just put it out there. We make it family friendly, because I want as many people to come as possible. I mean, I donated 400 tickets to VetTix this year, and VetTix is an organization that gives tickets to veterans. And so, that's part of giving back and whatnot. And I mean, our charity that we always, partner with, Kids to Love. I mean, this year we will cross the $100,000 mark of giving them money.
That's amazing.
Which is just crazy. Over the 10 years. I mean, I remember the first year I went and wrote them a check for $1,000. I was like, here you go. But I mean, last year we wrote them a check for $20,000, and this year it'll be more. And it's a great feeling, knowing what they do. Our blood drive, the units are up every year. So we can literally say that the Expo saves lives.
Well, so just go back to the Kids to Love charity for a second. That money comes from somewhere. How do people donate to that? How do people help support that?
So we take a portion of all tickets, but then there is a charity auction that we do, and the last few years,
where will that be?
Carrie has done it in the gaming room. And so, and that raises a lot of money. And the items that are in the auction, it's some stuff that he gets from game publishers and whatnot. But then a lot of the vendors and artists, they will donate items to go into that charity auction. So
I know one store that did.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff to be had. I get messages and emails after I send out the vendor information. It's like, hey, can I go ahead and donate stuff?
It's Mr. Nana's sweet.
Hey, Thanks, Dad. The gang's all here.
Yeah.
He's watching on YouTube. Who knew?
The bigger question is, does he subscribe to us on YouTube?
I didn't know he YouTube.
We got this many people on. I might as well beg for these subscriptions.
That's right. I mean, smash the button wherever it is.
It's literally free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Subscribe. It's free. Smash the like. It makes Josh laugh.
It does make me laugh.
I broke my computer liking your stories.
And where have you been for like the past year?
Publix.
He's been getting his Wolverine costume together.
That's right. He's been growing out his sideburns. But yeah, kids to love. So there's a Sweet Nana Sweet basket going in the charity auction. If that's not reason to go to the charity auction, I don't know what is. I don't know.
I also don't know why. How do you not go at that point?
Well, and now I'm curious. I want to say the if Carrie Jordan is still in the room, when is the charity auction? You would think I would know, but I don't. So I'm pulling up this tome of information to see, but it's slowly loading on my Commodore 64 computer over here.
There's going to be some Marvel people there this year. There have been Marvel people there in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel people come.
Charity auction. Okay, the charity auction is Saturday at... Oh, okay. So it's not a live auction. It is a silent auction. And it closes at Saturday at 4 p.m. So show up around 3:30, 3:45, get all your bids in, and know that all that money is going to charity, and not just, blindly charity. It stays right here in the Tennessee Valley to help foster kids. Awesome cause, Kids to Love.
It is an awesome cause. And if you're local and you've never been out to their facility and seen what they do and how they help these kids, how they help the families that are taking on foster kids, and then how they train these kids to be ready, because they leave the foster program when they turn 18, but they train them so they don't just get thrown out on the streets and have no skills or nothing to do.
Right.
It's a remarkable organization.
Well, and the cool thing too, yes. So once kids are 18, they're out of the system. But most 18-year-olds aren't ready to have their own apartment or can't afford it, And so they have, and this is for the girls in the system, they have a place called Davidson Farms, where they have a bunch of tiny houses that these girls can live for free, but they have to either be in school or working, and then they do chores and have to do stuff to contribute to the area. But that just gives them that bridge, so that they're not just, poof, you're out. And one of my favorite things that Kids to Love does is, a lot of times foster families called and said, hey, we're bringing a 6-month-old to you. We'll be there in an hour. They may not have stuff for a 6-month-old boy or whatever, but
diapers, formula, right, all that stuff. Yeah.
Kids are taken out of rough situations, and so they have an entire warehouse with brand new items that these foster families can come and get diapers, formula, a crib, basket, whatever, they need. But then they do back to school backpacks for foster kids. They do entire Christmas lists for kids. So it's just an awesome organization, and I love supporting them. They're really, really good people. And so it's been fun to see, to be able to just have that amount to give to them every year.
That's awesome. What a great thing. And so get down to the game room, even if you're not a gamer, and participate in the silent auction, buy some things, donate generously.
Yes.
And you're helping a great cause. You're getting some cool stuff. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
So before we sign off, any last things you want to tell folks?
So with us being, well, essentially 7 days till the show, like and subscribe, Shop Talk, but also head over to our Facebook page and turn on notifications. There's an event for the Expo, an event you can, yes, see, there's the reasons. So anyways, follow us on Facebook so you can get all information, because like I said, there might be a surprise guest or two in the next 24 or 72 hours. We'll see. Yeah, so follow us over there. That's it right there. If you need to get tickets, you can get them online right now at hsvexpo.com by clicking on tickets. Or you can head out to Haven Comics on Slaughter Road and buy weekend or single day passes. And then if you are a creature of last minute habits, you can buy tickets at the door. But it's going to be a fun time. Kids 12 and under are free. Kids 12 and under will always be free. I love getting messages or talking to people saying, I got to buy tickets for my kid now. They were 4 when we started coming. I'm like, well, that's awesome. We've got volunteers who have, because our requirements for volunteers, you have to be 16. If you're under 16, you have to be with an adult, your parent or an older sibling or whatever. Well, they're always with us.
The perfect answer.
Lord have mercy, he had to go there.
Put up the picture. No. So, we had a couple of we've got some volunteers who've been kid volunteers the last few years, but they're finally they've aged into being a real volunteer. So they're excited about it. And it's just it's fun.
It's fun to watch those kind of things and those people grow up in it, right? Yeah. I get that at Haven, the same thing. You got kids who come in and they got their first comic or their first little big board book or whatever. And then you see those kids growing up over time. I mean, I still have artwork that those kids have drawn. I still have, one kid wrote a paper about Haven Comics for his 6th grade English class. I still have a copy of that.
Yeah.
That stuff's awesome.
So, I mean, and like I said, Josh, you and I became friends over the Expo. I mean, and it's crazy. You talk about kids growing up and everything. Yeah, that I was just about to say that. Year 1 at the Expo, there's a picture of me, Emily, and Eli, and I'm holding Eli. And now he's 6'2" and doing the voiceover for the commercial. Asher was in a stroller. So, and it's...
And on that voiceover, Eli sounds a lot like you.
It's like genetics or something. Yeah. Good God, you're old, Justin. Oh, wait, you're the youngest in the room.
No, I mean, there was a couple of times in that commercial that I was like, wait a minute, is that Jeremy or is that Eli? I mean, that's how close he sounds a couple of times.
Yeah. And so, I mean, he did a great job with it.
He really did.
And it's gotten when I looked at it earlier today, it had over 80,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's getting out there, and it's and okay. So Eli did the voice, yes, but Nick Ellis, who's building Josh some shelves, he did he put it together, and he was able to, at the last, because he sent me the finished. Well, yeah, that too. There's not sponsors we do have Haley LaHover as a sponsor, but we don't have big sponsors or anything. And so little Maddie's grown up. And so I got derailed by my dad.
He's proud of you.
He is. It's sweet. I don't know where I was going. Rewind it. What was I talking about? But no, Nick Ellis put everything together, and he had sent me the final draft an hour after I got the message that Ernie Hudson was canceling. So I was like, hey, can you take that out? And so he was able to get it back to me, and then we pushed it out. but yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, you know, the print marketing and everything has D'Onofrio on it, Ernie on it, Zachary Levi on it. I think it even has Alan Oppenheimer on it.
You know what you should do with future Expo prints like that is set them up like the cover of what is it?
Days of
X-Men?
Future Past.
Yes, yes. So
That
we
would
can
be
just
funny.
X through them,
Yeah,
and that way it doesn't. You're all good. You're like, hey,
that's right. It's not it's an homage. Yeah. So, but yeah, tickets at Haven, tickets at the website. All information is on the website.
how much longer are tickets available on the website? Is there a cutoff date?
No, not
Okay.
really. In fact, like next Thursday night and next Friday night and next Saturday night, there's tickets bought like throughout the I wake up to like 200 notifications Saturday morning where people have bought tickets online. Because it's that convenient, because all you do is you buy them online, you're sent a QR code, you get your QR code scanned, you get your wristband or badge, and you're in the door. So it's a pretty easy process. Now to that, the price of the tickets go up slightly at the door, but the online fees aren't there. So it's kind of a trade-off.
Fantastic.
But yeah, so it's gonna be a crazy fun year. Come hang out. If you see me, say hi. You know,
He won't stop because he will be moving.
Right.
He's like a shark at the expo. If he stops moving, he dies.
That's
so
right.
He won't stop, but say hi as he goes running past.
Well, and I tell people, if you need me, stay put. I will walk past you in the next 10 minutes. Because it's just constant back and forth. Although I'm not allowed in the ticket area anymore. Amy said, "Get out here." I go up there just to bug her now. I'll go up and
Amy rules with an iron fist.
Yeah, I'll go up there and there's like nobody waiting because they're getting there. Like, you guys need anything? You need some help? Go away, Jeremy.
Yeah, if you didn't bring donuts, go away.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So long story short, everybody, the 10th year of the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo is next week. So it's hard to believe that it's that close, but it is next week. I'm pretty sure, Nick. Yes, I'm sure Jeremy is going to answer that question right now.
Yes. In fact, I've been meaning to text you about the thought of doing like daily recaps, like come in and have some and those obviously don't have to be like the 10-minute versions, but just come in and if it's not possible, it's not possible. But having like 30 to 60 second like recaps from Friday, recaps from Saturday, and then recaps from Sunday, just to put those at the end of the show, just to get people amped for the next day. But I'll text you about that, Nick. But yes, absolutely. As long as you are willing to come do videos, I freaking love those videos.
Aren't they awesome?
To talk about a total capturing of everything. Yes.
Nick,
and Carrie Comai, I don't know if you heard earlier, but we're gonna have those printed out and handed out to the people in the gaming room. But if you're wondering about, sorry, Al, if you're wondering about the video I'm talking about, go to our website and scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see the recap video from last year. It is, every time it comes out, it makes me so excited. Last year's was 15 minutes.
It was like 15 minutes. Yeah.
But it's just constant, and it's crowd shots, it's vendor shots, it's Dave McCormick saying, "Hey, my name's Dave." I mean, he's such a clown. I've got it playing right here. But such a fun. I watch it all the time just to get amped up for the next one.
Now, why did you do that? Blue Hellion, why did you do that?
Well, hang on a second. Nick, my brother in Christ, I love you, but the answer to this is not going to happen. What gets me, though, is every time I go to the Expo's website, for whatever reason, when I get scrolled to the bottom, I always get there right at the time that Tots' face pops up in the video. Every single time.
Yeah, I guess his face does just kind of pop up there. But everybody, yeah, Carrie just posted a link to that. So folks can go check out the video from last year, see all the awesomeness that was last year. And this year is just going to be even more. So yeah, it's going to be great. But everybody, the show is next week. If you're not already planning on going, I don't know what's wrong with you. You should absolutely do that. If you're saying, oh, well, the one or two guests that I wanted to see aren't going to be there, you know what? There are 70 guests. There will be more than that one or two that you will want to see. Plus the vendors, the artists. It's incredible. All the people that will be there. It's worth it just for the crowd watching, to be honest. The cosplayers.
The cosplay, super.
It's fantastic. So everybody come out to the expo. Come by and see us. Go by Artist Alley. Pick up books from the local authors. Pick up art from the local artists and all of the special guests. It's the kind of thing that you can't do anywhere else. And for the price, for the entire weekend, a weekend pass is what, $70, something like that.
It'll be 75 at the door.
But,
yeah,
that's insane. You go see a movie these days, it's going to cost you $20. And this is 3 solid days of wall-to-wall awesomeness. And as Kaylisa pointed out, Free Comic Book Day is the very next Saturday at Haven Comics. So it's going to be a crazy Saturday. If you're still in town, if you're from around here, come out to Haven for Free Comic Book Day. Get some free comics. Have a great time. It's going to be a hoot. It'll be like second breakfast. It'll be like the Expo 11s. So come out for that. We'll have a great time. But man, thank you for coming on and answering questions and talking.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me ramble on.
Always great. So we're going to sign off. Catch you guys next week. We will not have the show next week because we're going to be getting ready we'll have loaded in already, but we'll all be exhausted. And then we'll be
everyone come out to the baseball game next Thursday. Trash Pandas.
There you go. There you go. Come out and get a sneak peek at some of the celebrities who will be there at the game. It'll be fun. So we'll see you guys. We'll do a big retrospective and recap after the expo, talking about all the awesomeness, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see you guys next week at the expo, live and in person. Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.